Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. I'm your host, Dawn Black. I'm a local realtor in the area with Century 21 Circle. I love what I do, but most of all, I love doing these live streams because I love introducing our local businesses and nonprofits and letting them talk about themselves. And that way they talk, and I sit here and listen and maybe ask a couple extra questions here and there. But it's just a way of giving back to our community and letting other businesses shine. So I would like to do some housekeeping items, which is very important. Everybody's got to do housekeeping. I love interaction, so I can't say that enough. And our special guest is going to be somebody you will want to ask questions and pick his brain. So ask away. And also give me some hearts and thumbs up because we love to get in, like I said, see that people are out there and viewing us. But most of all, if you like the content you're seeing, follow and like Dawn Black, my personal page, plus also my business pages. But we're live streaming on Facebook. We're live streaming on YouTube. I have you on Instagram, LinkedIn. So we're getting our word out in all sorts of platforms. But what I like most of all is that this is live. So I'm going to check and see if we have any people on before I introduce our special guest. And first up, we have Chris Black. Looking forward to the show. Well, Chris, thank you for joining us. So, now what I'll do is let's introduce our special guest, who I am excited and honored to have him on my podcast because he's such a big guy, he's got a media company. He's out there in the public all the time. Jason Stallard with Love Local Media. I was like tickled pink that you would want to be on my live stream. So welcome, Jason. And if you wouldn't mind letting people know a little bit about you or just letting them know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, well, Donna, first off, I'm really honored to be on your show. I think you show up regularly and you show up with to be able to help serve and to be able to bring stories out from, businesses and organizations within our community. And I think me and you have a lot of common alignment there that really comes from a place of just wanting to be able to connect and to collaborate with other businesses out there. But the fact that you show up so much for people, to me, it's a true honor to be able to be here. My name is Jason Stallard. I am founder of Love Local Media Agency, which also powers the Love Local studio in Hoffman Estates, and also Love Local Chicagoland, which is our community channel and on our way to be able to give back to our local community by bringing stories to life that we think are important. And if you're looking to be able to connect with me, obviously on our website, lovelocalmediaagency.com. My cell is down below. You can see that too as it trickles off, or Jason at Love Local Media Agency. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook too. We'd love to be able to connect and to get to know you more and answer any questions that I can.
Well, Jason, it's just an honor to have you on my live stream, and I'm so excited. So thank you for being here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to start out with a question here. The first one, everyone has a story, and I'm sure you're big on stories.
Yes.
So, but I want the nitty gritty about what you were doing before you opened up Love Local Media.
Yeah. So first, going back to corporate days, I worked in corporate America. Worked for the company called Cheesecake Factory as a general manager, and then I went into healthcare and did that beforehand as like director of food and nutrition at North Shore University Health System, which is now Endeavor. Built a decent career, but it wasn't feeding my soul. So 2017, started. My wife was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I didn't even say it out loud because I knew I wouldn't get paid for a little bit, but I wanted to sell real estate. It was always a dream of mine. When I got into real estate, I had really good mentors, and I learned a lot, and I became successful really quick. But I was using the phone to be able to do that, and doing a lot of cold calls. And what I learned is that necessarily didn't feed my soul, but it was working. So then I learned at that time, I saw people making videos that were community driven, kind of like a locals, diners, drive-ins, and dives, and then showcasing our local nonprofits as other realtors. So a guy named Jesse Peters out of Canada, and Kyle Whistle, a guy that I followed in the very beginning, that are the regular original Love Local videos are very much modeled off of what I saw him doing. But we did that for a few years and got a lot of views locally. It was building out this real estate brand, but then COVID hit, and we were going to go in the real estate brand and kind of go all in on this piece of showcasing our community. And I think I was like 2 or 3 stories in, and when we started highlighting local businesses, and I realized that this wasn't about real estate for me. It was about the stories of the humans that were working and serving in our local communities. And I realized that that we all have a story, and that if we talk to each other, we could understand how there's so many similarities within our stories. And that plus what I learned from a lot of views in a very short period of time really drove me to being able to build a local media agency. I learned that the 6 degrees of separation in our community are real, and that if we make content that is story driven, that is powerful, that is led in a powerful, uplifting way from local small businesses and local nonprofits, that we could change the world one community at a time. And we've been on that ride ever since.
Wow. So why did you start Love Local Media Agency? What was your why?
I think to me it comes back to it's a couple of things. One, I think to me, I wake up every day not for money but for impact. So to be able to build a company that could be impactful in our local community fires me up. And to be able to realize that the 6 degrees of separation are real in our community, so that if we could amplify the voices of our small businesses and they could thrive, and if they could win, I also realize that those small businesses give back to our local nonprofits at a pretty awesome rate. If they could help feed our nonprofits, as well as by serving them and working with them, sometimes it's monetary, sometimes it's just showing up to volunteer, that I think we could really change the script on our local community. You add that, plus I think if we arm our small businesses and nonprofits to be able to get out there to the local community, to the community members itself, the people that might have worked in corporate America, maybe still do, that don't really understand the impact of what's happening on the ground from these nonprofits in our community, and with our small businesses, because they're not in it every day. If we could give them a taste of how we could serve them, how we could support them, how they could help make their communities a better place, I really think we could change the script this time in history and bring more light into the world. But it's going to take all of us, small businesses, nonprofits, to be creating to get those messages out there. And it says a big reason of why we built it. It's a long answer, but it's about giving nonprofits, it's giving small businesses a voice and doing the heavy lifting for them when it comes to content creation, so that all they have to do is do what's in their heart and what they know with their experience, so that they could give value to the people that they serve.
Yeah. What is the importance of getting your voice out in the world?
I think we all have a voice. I think we're all made uniquely, and I think it's important for us to be able to get our voices out there in a positive and uplifting way. I think that could happen from businesses, nonprofits, and just from regular people creating content in the world. We can either let negativity control our airwaves, or we can make content that uplifts. And I think by focusing on making content that uplifts, we could change our world.
We have a comment, so I just want to pause for one moment and bring in our comment here. Very, very inspiring, Jason. Thank you. So that was so Chris Black.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
He's shown up to a lot of things.
Doesn't he
Well,
though?
yeah, I mean, you probably know the guy.
I probably do.
Appreciate you, Chris. Thanks, man.
So real quick, what is the important or the experience, excuse me, like working with Love Local Media? What's the experience like?
I think you're going to get people that are really heart led. Somebody asked me really early on, do you want a relationship driven business or a transactional? And I didn't even have to hear the rest of the question. And we want to be relationship driven. We want to hear your ideas and your stories and your messaging and what you want to get out into the world and help you create beautiful content around it, and be able to help get your story out there. I think that's important to us.
So how does it look for somebody who is starting out with content creativity?
I think everybody's journey is different, right? So I think in my experience, when people are starting off, sometimes it seems overwhelming and you're like, oh, I got to learn how to use this. I got to learn how to use that and all of it. So I think knowing that it could feel like that is to give yourself grace as you're working through it. But at the end of the day, be able to put pen to piece of paper. I'm a pencil and a piece of paper sort of guy still. Then I'll go into the computer and that type of stuff and really focus on what messages do you feel like you need to get out there to be able to serve your target audience. And from that strategy, finding out like, oh, do I have a budget to create? Or can I start a podcast and is that fall inside of a budget and I can make a lot of clips off of? Or do I need to start on my phone and just starting making content here? But to me, it has to start with wanting to be able to get a message out there and then putting a strategy around it that helps you create in a somewhat of a structured way to be able to solve problems for the people that you serve.
So, and this is off of what we're talking about, but it's when you think about it, doing it is very intimidating. I mean, when you think about, you're saying just use your phone. It's the doing it. It's the getting out. Do you have any? Can you give anybody any tips on how to get past that?
Yeah, so I think I'll give you a story first. Okay. So when I first started this, I sucked at video. I couldn't speak in front of people. I would get locked up. My palms would get sweaty. My fight or flight would take over. I would lock up and I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know what the heck I was saying. What I learned through creating content and having that passion for that and seeing myself create the content is when I was stopping myself. I was actually saying the right thing. I was stopping myself because I didn't think it was good enough. What I learned is that not being good enough came from somewhere else. It didn't have anything what I was trying to be able to say. I had to fix that part first before I could show up on camera consistently. But what I will say, one thing that changed my life, which I would give all your viewers the advice to do if they're thinking about creating content and they're nervous about it, is I made 30 videos in 30 days. And people are like, well, that's a lot of videos. And I'm like, well, they weren't really thought out. They were ideas. I went through them as the beginning stage of my process. But what I realized is that I wasn't as bad as what I thought I was. I think I posted 2 videos off of those 30 videos, but what that did is it gave me confidence to be able to create video because I realized that the roadblocks that were in my head or when I was stopping myself was more that I was more of a perfectionist and didn't think it was good enough. But in all reality, it was good enough. I didn't believe in myself for it to be good enough, if that makes any sense. Yeah. But I would say like 30 videos in 30 days. Don't even overcomplicate it. Like eventually you want mics. Eventually you want to think about lighting, those types of things. But just to start, like literally pick up your phone and being like, hi, I'm Don Block, the best realtor in Schaumburg. And I think it's great to be able to sell or stage your home and you get more money for it with whatever is coming out of your heart. Yeah. So I think that helps. It realizes like there's no pressure here. As an artist, I look at this at myself as an artist. As an artist, I don't post everything. I don't tell every story, but I still might create it. I think that 30 videos in 30 days can help you curate your style, give you confidence, and show you that the process doesn't have to be that difficult.
Did you notice that after you got done with it, did you notice a change from the first video to the 30th video?
Yeah, I think it was more, to me, it was, and everybody's journey is different. I was able to get through a whole video without stopping. And because I just let myself flow. I think another thing in there, not to overcomplicate things in the beginning for people, but like, it's really easy to edit now on this thing. When I first started, it was Adobe Premiere, and it was a higher level of editing, and it took a long time to learn that program. These apps plus the AI, an app called like CapCut is a game changer. And all you need to know, like how to cut and trim things, you can make what you're saying sound a lot better just with some simple like cuts and trims. And you throw some captions on there, now all of a sudden you have a piece of content. It's gotten so much easier for us now. But I think having that confidence to go into that space and just chisel into it, I think is really important. And remember this framework, like you need to make and I'll go to a video piece of content here now. I think that's a big part of what we talk about here. But in short form pieces of content, to me, it's a 3-step framework of like your hook, what's going to draw your audience in, needs to be really quick within like 3 to 6 seconds, 3 to 10 seconds tops. What are you going to be solving problems for your audience while you're here? And the middle part is like, what is the solution? And how am I entertaining them? Whatever types of piece of content that is. And at the end is a call to action. Not everything needs a call to action if you're creating consistently, but think of it in that framework. To me, I would bullet point things out and I would just flow. It helped me create content better, especially once I started editing and realized how easy it was, that I could trim clips of me going, and all this, or something I didn't like, and I could still get the story across.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't take a lot of time. All of a sudden, in 20 minutes, I got a piece of content that now I could use, that could now get impressions, could get reach, could give value to the people that I serve. And now all of a sudden, when they're thinking about using me as their services, they think of me top of mind because I'm where their attention is, which is on this thing.
So what are your best practices for content creating?
I think for me, I've evolved over the years. I think people do it differently. And what I would say is 2 things. If you have an idea, just do it. and whether it's that moment or putting it into like a squirrel box and you do it a little bit later. And I think keeping it in that realm, always as a creator, you should always be like, I could create any place at any time. But where I found like the gold is creating a content library. So to me, building out a strategy, building out a content calendar in one setting, the next setting, I'm going to create that content calendar and edit it. Or that might even be in 2 settings, creating it and then editing it. And I'm going to distribute it. And it keeps it in those types of buckets. And then I think if you do those things, there's no way you're not going to be successful. But when you can batch create content, this world gets really busy. What you'll learn about branding and about social media content, it doesn't necessarily drive to direct business. You still need to be able to do sales activities, but you can guide people to your social media channels as well. So by creating content in batches and having, right now on my phone, I probably have, for my personal brand, probably 8 to 10 pieces of content ready to go and to be able to get out there. To me, that helps take the pressure off of posting consistently. And that's where I think people fail, is like, I don't have time. I would say, well, you're probably doing it wrong if you don't have time. And because we should all have enough time for things that will generate revenue for our business or for our nonprofit, or to get more messages out there that could help serve the people that I serve in my nonprofit. And if we don't have that time, we should really be looking at our workflows and are they up to date? Because content creation is any organization. Either you have somebody do it for you, or that's a piece of your daily, or weekly routines is creating content, because we have these platforms now where we could be our own media companies, where we could get our own reach, When have we had that before? We haven't. Now we have attention from people where their attention is, and it's on this phone. So to be able to create in your organization for that, I think is important. So batch creating and creating from a strategy mindset, or if ideas come, don't put yourself in a box. If you have time, just create.
Yeah. So why do people, why people need personal and business content?
It helps them earn trust with their people that they want to serve. The buyer, I read this maybe 4 or 5 years ago, the buyer's journey has changed. So, let's look at it from like a real estate perspective, right? When people used to buy a home 10, 20 years ago, they would call you probably a year or two in advance and like, what do I have to do to be able to get ready to buy a home? Or what do I have to do to be able to list my home? Now, because of these social media platforms, they're finding people that solve their problems and they're learning from them. And now they're not calling you as early in the process. They're calling you when they're a warm lead, almost ready to convert. In most cases, there's still the baby boomer generation that's probably going to call you 2 years beforehand and have you.
Excuse me.
Right? Well,
Nice.
it's real because they're not using social media like the other generations are. But even my mother-in-law, she's 76 years old. She's on Instagram every night. I got to remind her to get out our algorithm and into our community. But it's real, right? But if you're making content to solve problems, let's say it's my mother-in-law and you want to sell our house, like you could talk about staging and you could give content there. You can talk about landscaping and why that's important, or why, like, if you have oak cabinets and you don't want to spend a lot of money, why making white cabinets could help you, and putting new countertops in your kitchen could help you get a really nice return on your investment in this market. Whatever those things are for you, you could inform and educate people. I think also now you can entertain people. At the end of the day, you're keeping people's attention. You're keeping people's attention and you're giving them value when they need your services. You're top of mind. And I think that's all of our goal around making content, is to be top of mind for people. So when they need us, they know to give us a call as a media company, or give us a call as a local realtor, Don Block with Century 21. Or if they need a car, they go to Dan from DJ's Auto. If they need a car, brakes done on their car, or new tires, or new transmission, or whatever it is. By making content, you stay top of mind for people.
So what types of content do organizations need? How has making content changed your life and your business?
Yeah, so I think the first part of it, I think the stories within your organization that you think your audience needs to be able to hear, that gives value to them, whether it's education, whether it's inspiring, whether it's entertaining, whatever those things are, that should be a part of what's on the driving force behind your content calendar, is in putting a strategy together for that. I think with that, you have video, you have photos with the written word, you have podcasting, and you can help create content in those ways. With podcasting now, like why I love it so much, why I was like, we're going to build the studios, because how AI and podcasting are go hand in hand. You could create one show and go use an AI tool and create a whole bunch of content at that given time that helps get out, creates content and builds up your assets, being content in a very short period of time in a very low cost sort of way, which wasn't there before. I also think you have the AI piece in there now too, which I think should be a sprinkle of your content. It's really easy to make, and it's fun to make, and it's engaging really well right now on social. How long that goes, where that type of content is what stands out, I personally think that will change and it'll evolve over time. Right now it stands out, so it performs really well. But I think it's getting your message, and what messages do you think your audience needs to hear that gives them value, that shows you as the trusted expert. And then it's making content within those buckets that I mentioned, of photo with written word, video, podcasting, and also using AI and incorporating it. Maybe there's some Canva stuff that you put in there too. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big Canva guy because I don't think it stops people in their tracks. A marketing principle that I would use when creating content is like, what's going to stand out?
Yeah.
Canva no longer stands out, just like artificial intelligence won't always stand out. But right now it does. So leverage that. But
Yeah, it's that shiny new toy out there that everybody likes to use.
it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
is.
fun. I use it a lot of my personal brand mostly, but it's a lot of fun, and it engages really well right now. But I'm going to put that into like what I think it will. Not that you asked this, but it's for me, when I first started doing video, I could go to like the taco shop and get 7,000 views just by holding up my phone, being like, "Hey, I'm Jason at the taco shop. I think this place has great tacos and great burritos," and it gets 7,000 views, right? I do that video now, maybe it gets 100, So I think that same principle will go and play with AI.
Yeah.
The second part of your question was like, how has it changed my life? As an introvert, I'm not always going to be a loudest. Introverted principles or mentality. I'm not always going to be the loudest person in the room. So to be able to create contextually, to be able to meet my audience where they're at, is something I found huge value in. And to me, it's helped me grow my business. It's helped me build friendships, and it's helped me find my people. Where now, like, I meet somebody at a networking event and they've seen my content, or I see their content. Now, all of a sudden, that's a piece of discussion that allows us to be able to go deeper in whatever that thing is. That makes any sense. But I think
it does.
and at the end of the day, it's a touch point, and it's a way to deepen a relationship and keep the connection going even when you're not in front of them, so that when you pick back up in person, you could go deeper too. I think that's a part of it. But at the end of the day, it's super cheap, and it's a great way to be able to get in front of your audience.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't you do that from a business or a nonprofit standpoint? Like, you could create content that's cheap, that's low cost, and that could get your message out there to your audience. Why wouldn't you do that? Facebook's not always going to be free to play. The algorithms will tighten up more and more as we evolve. This is truly a great time in history where if we create and we follow what the algorithm wants from us, I go back to, I think we could change the world if we could focus it on supporting our small businesses, supporting on uplifting our nonprofits, and getting their messages to the community at large to understand the importance of those things. We could really create a positive impact. So long answer there, but I believe it all.
No, and you, just to go piggyback, I being an introvert, big crowds like kind of get freaky, but I don't have a problem now. Over time, I mean, I kind of started the journey with the video and stuff like that, kind of when you did, but over time, I feel safe. This is like a safe spot for me. Totally. I can get out, I can talk, I can get my information out. People see me, and then they get to know you. They get to know your stuff, and that's what I think. That's what it's all about. I mean, you put it great. We do have. I'm losing my voice, but while I've got it, we have Hector Martinez says he loves AI. This man, have you seen some of his stuff? He's like.
I haven't seen. I've seen him definitely posted it. What is he using for AI? And I wonder if are you using Sora yet, Hector?
Well, we'll see. Hopefully,
let him answer that.
Yes,
because there's a lot of funny things you can make with a chiropractor with Sora that I see out there a lot. That if you need a code, I can text you the code because I have a few left, or anybody else wants it.
Yeah,
it
is
for
fun.
Sora too. It's an invite only, but I have some. It's fun, right? You're using it a lot too, right?
Yes, I've got a couple out there, a couple of funny ones. Oh, I have the Kool-Aid one where I'm busting through the wall. I mean, it's a riot. Or my wrestling one. So yeah,
the wrestling one is pretty funny.
Yeah,
all of them are, but the wrestling one, I was like, that's pretty fun. Yeah, I did stuff with like Mr. Rogers. I did one.
You did your Halloween one. I was like,
Halloween.
Oh my God.
My wife was Pooh Bear and I was Tigger, and I showed the next morning. I showed Tigger falling on poop.
Yes.
And slipping, and apparently he doesn't bounce when it's me. But yeah, it's fun at the end of the day, and I think you know, you look at Facebook, Instagram, I think people want to go there to be entertained at the end of the day,
Oh,
and
yeah.
to be able to help definitely learn, but to be entertained. So I think AI is great for that. Like,
Oh, I think
it's
so
fun,
too.
and now it's, you know, with the baseline Sora package that you could get, it's like
Yes.
10-second videos, so it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
really that long. But I will say, if you get the plus or the pro, I mean not the plus, the pro account, which is more money with ChatGPT, you can get up to like 20-second videos. So
Oh, really?
this is
Okay.
all still so new. Like, it's gonna evolve so much, but I still think human content is important. And I think especially where we're going, where I think AI could also be manipulated for bad.
Yes. Yeah.
Eventually, I would think that these social platforms are going to have to put some type of regulation on AI to know what's real and what's not,
Oh,
because
definitely. A
it,
disclosure or
it could be
something.
used
Yeah.
as good, but it could also be used as bad.
Yeah.
So it now, you know, I look at what the baseline AI does, where it looks like me, kind of sounds like me. This is just beginning. Look at the evolution of ChatGPT in 2 years, a year and a
Yeah.
half of it being alive. The video stuff is going to be pretty remarkable. So I don't see how regulation is not going to be put into these social platforms. If not, it might be because it could be used as bad too. And I think at the end of the day, these social media platforms, there's also a sense of rage that could come from them. So if people are making it for bad, it's not going to be good.
It's not
But
gonna, yeah.
I do think as a local human, you could make content. I think you could use AI, but I do think there needs to be some type of policy to disclose if it's AI overall, because I think it'll just be safer for humanity.
I think so too. We have Ragu here. Hey, Jason and Don, you guys are both great humans who consistently help people tell their stories. Thank you for everything you do. You're welcome.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
that's
man.
what, yes.
You do
Well,
that.
he's the connector guy. He's the
He
guy
does
that,
it in his own way.
yeah, he's
He's
the live version of LinkedIn. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yes,
So
yes,
live version of LinkedIn. I don't know where he gets his energy from, but he, you know, things he does within his organization and his business with always be connecting is how he connects people and how he gets, you know, he helps them build like authentic relationships with each
yes.
other, which I also think that's a great way to be able to grow business. You put that to me. I think you put that mindset of what he's built to with a good social media strategy, and I think you have like this really thriving
Oh,
ground
gosh.
game and air game within your business or
Oh,
your
definitely.
nonprofit.
Definitely.
Thanks for watching,
So,
Rick. Yeah.
yes, thank you. So, hey, okay, so this is what we've been all been waiting for. What is it like in your studio? And
So
we're gonna try this now. It worked before. We're gonna try it again.
hopefully it doesn't suck now. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
sure.
turn this down and I'm gonna turn this up, and we'll give people.
So
Um,
I'm gonna flip over to your other. Oh, I'm praying that it works. I'm praying. Do you hear me, Jason?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so it does work. Yeah, so please, will you please give us a grand tour of your studio?
Yeah, for sure. So we're here at Bellworks Chicagoland, which many of you know now. You know, other businesses here, Blink Tees, we got Swing Loose there, a handful of other businesses in here, a gym right over here with Party Cycle. But we love it. We've been here for 4 years. We've been in this space for about a year and a half. But we wanted to come out front, being Love Local. We wanted to come out front to be able to showcase our local community in the way that we do it, or setting the stage for people to be able to create content. So for us, like, we create content in this space. It's 3 camera setup that you have here, and up to 4 seats here. But we really built this where it's plug and play for everybody else to come in here with your own brand, up to 4 seats, with your own brand, that you would put up there. That we help you, you know, tell you the specs and what you need. We also have local power partners that can help you build out your logo. We have really good mics. I'd say this is probably the best mic that you could get out there right now, made by Shure. And then we have like a back area here, which I won't take you back into, but that's like where our offices are. But this is like this setup here was like, well, this is why I think we needed to build a studio, and I think we needed to do it locally. Is technology's evolved a lot over the last 5-10 years, and it's even evolving more as we get ready to make updates. But we do switching in live time, so that costs a lot less for editing for you, and so we're able to give it to people a lot cheaper. And we staff this seat with a podcast producer. So you come in here, this podcast producer greets you, greets your guests, offers you water, and you do your show. You have a timer here that would go on, so you know what that is. And once you're done with your show, you leave, and we give you, content that is going to be able to, be professional, be clean, and allow you to be able to, get your message out there in an authentic way.
Wow. And you said something about the lights the last time. You had mentioned that those lights changed.
So yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So back to these, like we like pink here at Love Local. It's a big part of our brand vibe. But I will say like these go any color, and we really Clearwater Capitals in here. They go to like a light blue. We have Hopeful Beginnings in here, and Fellowship Housing. They go to like a purple color. So it really is about meeting people where they're at. I think white is Bridge Youth and Family Services. We have a senior company that's in here that is that does like a light like teal color. So but yeah, that's the studio if you want
Yeah,
to
I
click
am.
back to the camera.
Yes, I will switch it. All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us the tour of your studio. I thought that was cool. I'm glad it worked out.
I
So
know,
it
I'm
sounds
glad
good.
too. We figured it out and it worked out, so thanks for that
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. So what do you think about AI?
I think overall, I think it's going to be a great tool. Kind of, talking in the beginning, I think it's going to be a revolution with it that will have a bust at the end of it. But I think overall, I think it has the opportunity to be able to change and revolutionize our world. We just have to use it for good,
Yeah.
and to be able to use it as a content creators could it streamline our processes, could make it simpler, so and to make us more efficient, so that we could post consistently without breaking our banks, and also be able to give our audience value, and by using it as a brainstorming partner, get more ideas out that could still come from you. I love AI. I do think, not to get Debbie Downer, I do think there's probably a dark period with it in the beginning, but I think once we get through the dark learning period, the growing period of it, that I think it could be a really positive thing in our world. And not only can we make better content with it, but I think we could, fix things like climate change and things like that, and diseases, all those types of things using this type of technology. So it really gives me hope for the future, but I'm not naive enough to know that there might be darkness that comes in that in the
Yeah.
beginning. And that's why I feel really strongly on regulating AI on social media. And I hope that there is some type of regulation that comes with that, because I think it could be a dangerous tool as well. But when
Sure.
used for good, it could be beautiful.
So how can you incorporate AI in your content creating?
So I think using ChatGPT to help generate ideas that are to your voice, build out a project there and work on ideas from there. I think using it to be able to make clips from like podcasting with like a tool called Opus is really easy. There's other tools out there to script, the list could go on, that chop up the content to make short form content in a really cost efficient way. I think what else? I think using it within these apps that, like CapCut, I'm a big fan of, to edit off the phone. Really easy. I might not have started a media company if they had an app like that in the beginning, because of what it could do. But now it could automatically make clips for you in that app. That type of thing. I mean, StreamYard, you're using this now, that could create clips inside of the
Yeah,
app
it
using
does.
AI. So I think it's going to help streamline it to really focus more on your messaging and in getting your messaging right on what you want to give to the world, and then it'll be a lot easier to create. I also think the AI tools, Sora would be an example. What's out there now, it's built by OpenAI, who also built ChatGPT, and it's where you see both of us creating on these fun videos. I think tools like that are going to only become better. There's something called Artlist that I use as well, that we use for B-roll generation. It's pretty amazing. It does voiceover stuff now with AI. So I think AI could be a really good tool for creators, but I don't think it's going to replace us. But I do think it should amplify our voices in a way that it's just going to be a lot easier than what it's done before. So I go back to, like, we're all uniquely made different.
Yes.
Using AI to get to what we feel we should be bringing out into the world, I think is kind of what inspires me about what I think AI could be. I think if we come at it with good human hearts, we could revolutionize our world with these social platforms if they aren't controlled, and with the help of artificial intelligence for efficiency and for creation.
Definitely. So as you look to the future, why is it important to build content for personal branding and branding your organization?
I think it's the new SEO. I think overall it's where people find you. SEO is going to continue to change. I'm not an SEO expert, but it's going to continue to change. I even look at it now as when you Google something, it doesn't necessarily go to your organization. It goes to like this AI overview of what that is. So what's going to stand out? To me, creating content is what's going to stand out. People are going to look to your social platforms to get to know you more. Those social platforms will come up when you're Google too. Your website will come up there, but to go after your website to be able to find your answer, or to be able to just get in that AI or in a minute video, I think is more of what the future is. So I think the new SEO is content. So I think that is why it's important for us to humanize our brands and to be able to give people the information they need in the ways that they consume it the easiest, which to me happens to be, I think AI plays a part of that, but I think humanizing your brand with podcasting and with videos, I think are really important.
Well, excellent. That's great information. So do you have any offers for our guests who are watching to meet the expert on the block?
Yeah, just come into the studio. It's cheap. Right now we're getting ready to up prices. Right now it's $300 for an hour to come in here, and you get your content given to you. And do that. I think for your audience, I'm looking at running a special that I could definitely give to them at $249. If you lock it in before the end of the year, we're going to do some upgrades in the studio. It's going to become better. And we're going to raise our prices a little bit going into 2026. But I want people in here now creating and getting their message out there, because I think we have an opportunity to be a part of something pretty remarkable in history when you talk about the AIs into play, social media is into play, and how we could create content locally and how we could connect locally. Mm-hmm. I think that is going to be looked back as the greatest time in history to be able to create content for small businesses and for nonprofits, to be able to help grow their bottom line and earn trust in the community. And I think podcasting is one of the ways to do that. So $249 an hour. I'll give it to you all through the next year too. If you want to come in, I would love to give that to your audience.
Okay, great. Well, you heard it from here. I mean, give Jason a call if you're interested in seeing his, maybe even taking a tour of his studio and seeing what it's all about. But it's a great way to get your voice out. I for sure, I've used you for when I did my introvert talk, my coffee and contacts talk over at the SBA, and the clips came out and they looked clean, they were nice, and I was able to reuse them. So which got a lot of movement. So I was really happy about that, because I thought it was very important to get the word out about being an introvert with an extrovert job, how we do it, how we handle it, and how we get through it. So I want to thank you very much for that.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're grateful for the opportunity. I think that's why we're building all of this, is because we think local voices matter, and there's local impact makers like yourself that are not only a great realtor, but also is a voice for the introverts, to give them hope
Yes.
that they could do anything that they want to do. So to be able to help you bring that story to life with, recording it and making short clips is totally our honor. And it's why we're building this thing, because we think voices like yours matter.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you for being here. Um, so I'm going to see. We're going to be closing out. I want to check with everybody, see if anybody wants any last minute comments or say anything. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do it, because right now we've pretty much gone over everybody that has chimed in, and I'm grateful for everybody for doing that. And like I said, it's my show is not a show without interaction and without all of you watching it and touching, just showing us that you're there. So I appreciate all of you for interacting with us and for just stopping in and listening to what great information Jason had for us. So well, I guess that is, oh no, I do have one. Let's
Ooh.
see, do I have one? Oh yeah, it didn't show up, but it showed up here. Chris Black. Yes, this was informative. Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Don. Well, thank you for joining us, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you for sticking around and listening. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
he's always there. He's always there. So again, you know what? We're going to be doing another. I always try to anybody. So I guess I'll put it out there. If you're interested and you want to get your word out, like Jason did, give me a call. Let me know. I'd be happy to have you on my live stream if you're interested. But I want to let everybody know that our next, well, I still have a voice. Our next Meet the Expert on the Block will be on November 19th. We're going live at 5 again, live at 5 p.m. with Aneta. She is Aneta Art Classes. She's an amazing lady that I'm her ambassador, but she wants to get her voice out. How she has a school. She has a school for art, and it's just amazing to see the art that she has. And it's a lot for the students that come to her place, her studio. It's not just art. They're basically doing art. They could be doing sewing. So if they wanted to, so it might be something where you take it on, but you're possibly going to be doing that in the future. Like if you wanted to design clothes, you can sew clothes. Or if you're into architecture, they have art so that you can build little buildings and things like that, just to get a concept of what architecture is all about. So she is going to be on my next show that's coming up on November 19th. So I want to thank everybody. Jason, I do want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. It was amazing, and I'm glad everything worked, and you were able to get out on all the platforms. So StreamYard was working for me today. So, and I appreciate you and you being here.
I appreciate the opportunity, and keep going, my friend. I think what you're doing is pretty awesome for our local community and the business owners and the nonprofit leaders that are in it. As a realtor, you don't have to do this, but you keep showing up for people, which is just, it's a beautiful way to do life. So keep going too, my friend.
I will. Thank you so much. So until our next episode, like I said, November 19th, live at 5. We always try to go live at 5, even though I did for Dr. Hector, I moved it to the morning edition, but that was okay. So, but everybody else, I hope you guys make it a great evening, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Take care.
Guys. Peace.